nice front porch here. Well, my friends, welcome to Chapman State Park, to our continued adventures here in the Allegheny National Forest. If you're looking for things to do in the Chapman area, then you should check out our previous 2 videos, and that'll hit on all of that. But in today's episode, we're going to show you around the park here, and some things to do at the park here. And we're also going to go on a hike here tomorrow. We should be able to walk around the campground at some point. And I also want to give you guys a tour of the cabin that my parents rented for the weekend, so you'll have a little glimpse into what those are should you decide to rent a cabin here at Chapman State Park. So right now we're walking down to the beach, and we just got a stand-up paddleboard, so we're going to give that a try and see how it all goes. So come along with us. Wanted to show you what you get when you get a cottage here at Chapman State Park. This is cottage number 3. Do you know how many they have?
I think 4.
I think there's 4 here total. And they booked this more recently, so they don't fill up horribly quick as far as Memorial Day weekend goes. They're well built. This one here is no pets allowed. You want to make sure you're aware that if you have pets, you book one that allows pets. These are pretty simplistic. You got 2 bunks over here, and then this has like a queen size bed and a bunk over here. They do have a table for you to eat at. Lots of windows, 1, 2, 3, 4, one behind me. They do provide you with a light. They are heated, but there's no refrigerator, there's no microwave. So like anything that you're gonna cook with, you'll need to bring supplies with you, like a camp stove or something like that, or plan on cooking over the fire. We had a fire out here the first night we were here, and that's what we did. We cooked on the fire. And there's no mini fridge, so you'll need to bring a cooler to hold ice sufficiently throughout the whole time you're here. That's about it. They do provide you with a fan, so I guess that's your source of air conditioning in the heat of the summer, is this fan that they provide you with here. So, and it's got a ceiling fan too, so you'll be able to get some air movement. It was not hot this past weekend, so they didn't have any kind of issues with that. Like I said, you got a nice front porch here, picnic table. Oh yeah, picnic table over there with the fire pit. So that's what you got. Checkout of these is 10, so she's got to get out of here. And check out for the RV sites where we're at is 3 o'clock, just like usual in Pennsylvania state parks. So we're going to try to get a little hike in before we leave, but we got to take her over to the park office and get checked out. And so yeah, we'll see you on the trail. We are doing the nature trail loop, which kind of goes around the campground here. And I think that's about it. I think it's like 1.2 miles. It's an interpretive trail, so should be a good time, hopefully. What's it have?
Sign.
signs.
It has signs?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure it has lots of signs.
So friends, as far as the campground goes and the RV sites, it's pretty typical Pennsylvania State Park. They have water available to fill up your tanks. They have a dump station and electric at just about every site here, I think. But there's no sites with sewer that I've seen, and if they are here, they're few and far between for sure. I think this whole loop up here where we're at is all the pet sites. Do you know, is the other loop, is it half pet and half not? Or no pets?
I could have swore I saw pets down there.
Either way, you want to make sure when you're booking a site at any Pennsylvania State Park that it allows for pets, because they're pretty strict about that, and they're also pretty strict about walking your pets in certain areas. You know, basically the people who don't have pet sites don't even want to see your dog anywhere near them. So
there are pet-friendly cabins, not all of them, but some of them.
The rangers have been patrolling quite a bit. I don't know if it's just because it's Memorial Day weekend or if that's common practice here, but we have seen them a lot more than we have pretty much anywhere else that we've been camping. So on this trail, I think there were supposed to be interpretive signs, but we haven't come across any yet. I'm wondering if we went the wrong direction. You're supposed to start at the amphitheater, but maybe we were supposed to go the other way around the loop. But we haven't even come across any signs yet. So, yeah. And really nothing of interest, you know, above and beyond the normal Pennsylvania woods. This would be a nice walk though, like, you know, for like a day-to-day walk your dogs around the campground type of thing. This is a nice trail to go for a morning walk. And there are some nice hemlocks back that way. That's a pretty big one. So definitely some old trees. You can sort of see them up there.
I can catch up to you.
Friends, definitely a positive thing about Chapman State Park here is there's quite a few walk-in campsites. There's one just behind me there, but there's a lot of them, and so I know quite a few of you that follow the channel would be interested in that sort of thing. They are all back here in the woods, away from the RVers, and so, you know, if you're looking for a little peace and quiet, definitely something worth checking out. So friends, you definitely want to have your map with you when you're doing this trail. There's a sign back there that says Loop 1 and Loop 2. And Loop 1 is kind of I believe it's Loop 1, but there's a shorter loop that basically will take you right back into the campground. And then there's a longer loop, which we're doing because there's some things I want to go check out. So if you're looking to follow our route, make sure you take the longer loop, which essentially you'll cross these two wooden bridges going away from the campground. So probably the one thing that I am actually noticing a lot on this trail is the amount of cherry trees that are just, well, they're everywhere. and they're tall, and it's interesting. That's not something that you see everywhere in Pennsylvania. A lot of times it's like a dense oak forest everywhere you're at, which you're not seeing a lot of oak up here. This hike is predominantly hemlock and cherry, and I think some beech too, like we seen yesterday. But there's a lot more cherry trees here, and I actually think I seen some cherry here that were bigger than in the old growth forest that we visited yesterday. But there's some decent sized hemlocks here too. I mean, this one, if we weren't at the old growth yesterday seeing those massive trees, this would probably be a pretty impressive forest. I mean, it still is. It's just obviously doesn't compare to the old growth. So we have just passed the intersection of the nature trail and the Lowlands trail, and so we're going to hike the Lowlands trail out to wherever it leads. It'll be kind of an out and back thing, and then we'll continue on the nature trail back to the amphitheater, and then we'll be back at camp. But I think there's some interesting things to see down this way, so let's go check it out. Well, friends, we found the swinging bridge just off the Lowlands trail. Now, I believe that you could probably kayak from the lake up to here because it looks like stagnant water, so I'm assuming, you know, that it's part of the lake and deep enough. That would be pretty cool. We should have probably did that when we were out on the paddleboard yesterday, but it would definitely be fun to do. As you can see just back there, you could have a nice little picnic over here on picnic table. But if it's a sunny day, you'd bake because it's hot. And I think it's only in like the 70s today, and the sun is just blazing. So, and there's no shade, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so, friends, just a little bit ago I was telling you about the cherry trees in the region, and this sign here says that this particular region of the United States produces 80% of the world's black cherry as far as like a hardwood for furniture making and that kind of thing. And the sign claims that it's one of the most valuable hardwood species. I don't know that that always holds true. I know when we timbered our property, they didn't even take the cherry trees. And the guy was telling me that it wasn't going for very much. But that might have just been, I know all that kind of stuff really fluctuates. When we sell timber from where I work, it definitely fluctuates. Some years we get a lot for certain things, and other years we don't. So that's how we decide what we're going to log. Here behind me there's some gnarly old hemlocks right on the lake. The sign says that there's walking trees. When a seed falls on a decomposing log and grows, and the roots can grow around the log. And then originally when the log decays, then eventually there's like a tunnel under the tree. But I don't see anywhere around here a tree like what it's describing. because it'd be cool if we could find it. So about the whole time we've been on this trail, Rachel's been trying to figure out what these trees are, and because she remembered learning about them in school, and we just found a sign that says what they are called the American hornbeam or musclewood. And I'll try to get you close to one here. These are them here. They're shiny. The texture and stuff in them, it's like tendons in the muscles in your body. So that's why they call it musclewood, and it is a very, very strong wood. Do you know what they used it to like build?
I don't. You can't really use it. It does not grow very big, and like I said, it's really, really strong. Like you have trouble cutting through. You have trouble putting nails in it and screws in it. And the sign there, this I didn't remember. The sign there says they rarely go over 40 feet in height. So they're just not a very big tree, but they're really cool to look at.
Yeah, I bet you could make like a good walking stick or something out of like a branch.
Good use, yeah.
Or potentially like they used to make like bows, like the Indians, out of wood back in the day. Something along those lines, I'm sure that it would be good for. This is a very pretty section of the trail here, but I would watch for snakes, especially on a day like today when the sun's shining like it is. The sign behind me talks about how they used hemlock bark for tanning back in the day, so they would strip the trees of their bark, which essentially girdles the tree and kills it. And you'd have these big logs fall on the ground, and those would decompose, and that's what creates all the undulations that you see behind me here. And then also, as you can see behind me, as the new seedlings and the new hemlock trees continue to grow, it creates a lot of shade on the ground, and that's what prevents other species of trees from growing in a hemlock grove. It's the immense amount of shade that they create. And we've talked about before how good hemlocks are for the environment and how they're essential in the way that they keep the soil and the pH and all that stuff balanced. That's why it's such a shame if they do all pass away from the adelgid. Friends, we would love to have you join us this coming Sunday for a very special episode. We're doing 2 episodes this week, so we're not skipping next Thursday either. Sunday we're releasing a video at 6 o'clock so we can catch up a little bit to real time, and we're kicking off our biggest adventure ever. So it's one you won't want to miss. We're excited to kick off this adventure. We're excited to take you with us, and so we'll see you on Sunday.